All right, what's going on, everyone? Talk about an embarrassing tournament. Not just that. This video, we're going to be going over the state tournament at Cedar Creek for the Texas Bass Nation Youth. This was the final tournament before the national championship, and it was just an absolute disaster of a tournament. Everything that could really go wrong went wrong. I think we were on winning fish. The execution was not there, and you'll see in the video here, I missed a couple clips. We missed we missed a bunch of fish, missed a bunch of opportunities day one. The first fish did not get recorded. I think I bumped it as I was like falling asleep in the console, bumped the power switch and turned it off for the first fish, which was probably easily a 5, maybe a 6, 6.5. Big fish, but I'll be going over kind of the areas, what we were looking at, and the baits, of course. So in practice, we only landed one fish, and that was like a 12-inch fish on like a drop shot or something like that. Easily scopable fish on like a tree, a stump, something like that. Vertical cover that they could move up and down on. The lake post-spawn, water fluctuation was very, very drastic. We had a lot of water come in before, had a lot of rain, had a lot of falling water. So realistically, the water didn't change that much, but it was new water always coming into the system, which made the fish act very, very strange. Now, to win, it only took around 15 pounds per day, 15.5 pounds per day, which is very, very low, especially for Cedar Creek, especially in the early summertime. A lot of the time, those fish start actually grouping up offshore right now. However, obviously, because of the conditions that we were facing with the rising water, falling water, they did not want to eat a lot of things. A lot of people didn't get on a good offshore bite, if any bite, just like us. So some overall stats for the tournament. I think 56 high school teams actually weighed a fish. There were 97 teams entered. So the zero weight rate was pretty high. The weights were extremely far down. I think most people averaged maybe like 10 pounds for both days. Obviously there were some teams that were up there in the, high 20s, mid 20s, and a bunch in that 10 to 15 to 20 pound range. So maybe not even 10 pounds a day. Overall, just extremely rough. Bennett and Gavin had a, like I said, rough practice. Landed one 12-incher, had around a 4.5, 5 pounder on the mag draft. Freestyle with a jig head. And you'll see here as I'm overlaying some video, they were focused on isolated bait balls where these fish were schooling on them, pushing the bait up, and, just hitting them that way. We were throwing bigger baits. The 6-inch mag draft seemed to be kind of the key size that they wanted. Now, Cedar Creek has a lot of hybrid stripers and regular sand bass. So having a bigger than average bait like this 6-inch mag draft, or even cutting it down to like a 5-inch mag draft, it was definitely key in getting those better bites, because every fish we hooked into on a mag draft was at least a 4-pounder. All of them that came off were really, really big. Now, down by the dam, we had a north wind coming in. Of course, the current running down from the lake created a big opportunity area. It was farther away from the creek, so it was a lot cleaner water as well, so we could get away with throwing a big swim bait like this. Now, the hookup ratio issue, it may have come down to the rod, may have came down to the line, but I really didn't see any way that they could have kept those fish on other than maybe having a stiffer rod. But they did have a 7'4" heavy rod on, decent parabolic bend. Maybe they didn't set the hook hard enough. Maybe we just got unlucky, dumping all of our bad luck, hopefully in this tournament, before we go on to the national championship. So, the main bait for us, we kept a mag draft in our hand all day in practice, kept on scope, looking for these cruising fish that were targeting bait specifically around condensed bait balls, with gizzard shad being anywhere from 5 to 6 inches, just like our baits. Now, obviously, we were throwing a little bit bigger baits than most of the bait fish we were around, and that was to key on those bigger fish. And the mentality going into this tournament was really get big fish. Let's not worry about placing in the 20s or the top 10, top 20 to 10. We're going for the win. And that's really the bites we generated. Day one, we easily missed probably 15 plus pounds. With getting them hooked right next to the boat and them coming off. And that all happened on the mag draft, and we had one on the Vision 110 jerkbait. We weighed it down. We've got on the same school over on the bridge is kind of what we did in the last video. giants. I mean, mega giants. 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8 pounders cruising all over. They were just extremely hard to get to eat. They were very territorial of the area, so anything that got in next to them, they would chase out. They wouldn't always commit, and when they did commit, it just seemed like they just got turned off the closer and closer they got. So we tried jerk baits, 110 plus ones, 110s. You know, we tried hovered juggling. We tried just Demiki rigging. We tried throwing the mag drafts at them. Tried almost everything in the boat. Spinner baits, chatter baits, everything. Couple things we didn't try were hair jigs and flutter spoons. Didn't have any of those in the boat, unfortunately. I don't know that it would have made a difference. Had a bunch of boats over in the same area where we were fishing, and they were throwing those same baits and did not have much success. So in terms of getting these fish to eat, we had the bites to easily have 15 pounds day one. Day two was more of a train wreck. Bennett landed a small fish on a mag draft early in the morning, and then after that it just kind of went downhill. After day one, after not getting anything, it was very more than likely not going to happen that we were going to come back for the win, you know, top 3 even. I mean, even top 10 maybe, just depending on the day. You have to get really, really lucky, find like half of a needle in a massive haystack. It was just one of those deals where the fish, you had to grind them out, and it just was not something that they wanted to do. You know, obviously finishing the tournament all the way through is one of the best things you can do, because never give up. You know, it can happen. It's just we were very dejected after day one when it came down to it. We definitely had tons of followers day two on the mag drafts again. We were fishing longer points, fishing brush piles, fishing standing timber. Just didn't happen. Those fish were there. They were not eating, and I think it was just the fluctuating water, the dirty water moving in, clearing out. On our way back, actually, we got off a little bit early. The trolling motor speed dial actually came off the trolling motor pedal, and the graphs were getting folded in on each other because the screws came out. And that's just something that had been in Gavin's boat for a while. That wasn't like a current issue that happened at the tournament. But overall, we got off the water, and the different mud lines going up north was insane. We saw probably 4 or 5 different mud lines coming in from different creeks, dirtier water. It was absolutely crazy. But overall, it was a good experience. I think the boys definitely learned how to grind it out, learned how to throw a little bit more of these baits that we will be focusing on at Chickamauga at the national championship. So overall, guys, it was a very tough tournament. Congratulations to the winners. I think they got again around 15 pounds per day, something like that, and did a amazing showing. And the junior anglers actually weighed the biggest weight in during the tournament. It was like 17.5 pounds, so hats off to them. But everyone that fished that, guys, is extremely tough overall with the changing conditions. But you know, it was a fun tournament, good experience. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Of course, definitely leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the lake, definitely shoot them in the comments. If you have any suggestions on how we could have kept those fish pens, let us know down in the comments as well. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time at Lake Pro Tackle. See you guys.